Well, first of all, obviously all of the binding is coming off, top and back. See how thin that bridge is? They just never got it right. Right out of the gate from the factory, the neck set was wrong. Even with that straight edge on there, the distance from the surface of the soundboard to the underside of that straight edge should be about 7/16 to 9/16 to drive that soundboard. So this guitar has just never been right. So first thing, we're taking the neck off. We got our trusty cappuccino maker heating up that water so we got good clean steam. I want to take a second to explain something about this jig. The reason I designed it the way I designed it is the two back rods actually hold the sides together so there's no danger of cracking. Now the front rods have a completely different purpose. You'll see there's an actual space here in this rubber, but this rubber here is compressed. So that mid-density rubber straddles across the back and supports the back across the head brace. This is where the action happens. As you tighten those outside rods, the upward pressure on the tip of the heel presses the dovetail out. Now on the top, I have these vinyl and foam pads that seal the top so that the lacquer doesn't blush. That's it. And we're still just getting started with this job. There's a long way to go yet. But at least the frets are out and the neck is off, and that's a real good start. There you go. For all you guys with your tech decks, that is the neck removal jig that I use. And that's what we've got. Yeah, they had a difficult time even putting this neck on when the guitar was made. Big, thick shim. Okay, one more thing to deal with. I am going to take a few minutes and explain what I'm doing. As you know, we had to remove all that crumpled binding, which I did, top and back. Now, because we're changing the bridge plate, you can see that big hunk of plywood there. With this guitar, you've got the double X brace, so it's completely encased. That's a good 3/16 of an inch thick. Any chance that this guitar might have had of resonating all died right here with this bridge plate. So to get that bridge plate out, normally you can get in from this side, but with a double X, it complicates factors. And unlike the 60s guitars that were plywood sides, solid top, solid back, this one actually is solid sides. So yeah, I'm going to shave away at these braces. We're going to get that bridge plate out and put a 40 style, very light 90 thou solid maple plate in. Well, there is the remnants of the old plywood bridge plate. And this is the replacement bridge plate. 90 thou thick, tapers to 70 thou on the back side. This one weighs in at 8 grams. And this is the footprint of the new one. So it did come out pretty clean. I've got this one brace here that I had to slip underneath with the probe. And besides the bridge plate, there's just way too much lumber on this guitar. That's why it never really had any sound. So first of all, that third finger brace, it shouldn't even be there. I've already pared this one down. I'm showing you before I get started so you can see when I'm done how I end up scalloping these braces. I will do the same on this side, scallop that. I'm going to scallop these as to where they intersect with the X brace. So once I get this all pared down, we'll come back and have another look. This is the dry run for the new kerfing. And once the glue sets on that kerfing, then we'll grind the entire assembly down on the 24-foot spherical radius sander that I designed, I don't know, 35 years ago. And we'll bring you back for another look. The interior bracing still needs to be fine sanded, and this will make more sense as we move along. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is I will actually make a very slight cut at the top of these mahogany cross grain splices to allow us to drop that kerfing down ever so slightly. Okay, I'm outside in the backyard. I've got my 24-foot spherical radius table and the body assembly ready to sand. This is the radius disc sander that I made about 35 years ago. And this air-driven foot switch drives that disc. Decided to give that sander a little extra help by slicing the head block and the tail block down before we start sanding. That takes a load off the sander. Now, we don't have to bring it down all the way because we still have to glue on the kerfing. Everyone has heard the phrase, necessity is the mother of invention, but I tend to disagree with that because I believe that frugality is the true mother of invention. You see these solid cast aluminum kerfing clamps? I had a customer actually gave me a couple of bags of these a few years ago, but I have to say, honestly, I've never used them. Now, these clamps, however, are the absolute perfect fit for the kerfing. I got 48 of them for $8 Canadian. My point is, you can spend all the money in the world if you want, but these clamps I've never used, even though I got free bags of them. These ones work perfectly. I just saw these online at a guitar shop supply. There's, I think, $8.83 US. These are 16 cents. And that's why I've always said frugality is the true mother of invention. How's that for frugality? You know, if you got unlimited funds, you're one of these selfish billionaires, well, no issue at all. You got a problem? You just sick a team of engineers on it and go on a holiday for a few months, come back, and it'll all be done. But when you got to come up with the goods yourself and find a cost-effective, affordable solution, you do what you got to do. That's one of the things I love about this trade. You see me using hockey pucks and all kinds of vernacular stuff that's just lying around. Also, in the spirit of frugality, I just picked up 100 of these 18-gauge needles. You saw me using them in the video to spritz that cloth to get the kerfing off. Well, I go through quite a few of these. 100 of these, $9.93, taxes in. There's very few highly specialized tools I use. I got these at the dollar store. You know, when it comes to frets and fret dressing, you can spend $165,000 on a CNC machine to do your fret dresses, or you can buy my fretting kit and a GPS tap deck. You do 2 fret jobs and they're all paid for. How many fret dresses do you have to do to get back that $165,000 that you invested on a CNC fret dressing machine? I rest my case. So watch how smoothly and flawlessly this kerfing goes on with my 16-cent clamps. You know, when it comes to this type of work, this lesson in frugality proves that bigger or more expensive is not necessarily better. In most cases, the best work comes from some of the smallest shops in the world, produce some of the greatest guitars. Now we're just bringing it down until the head block is flush with the kerfing, and on this end till the tail block is flush with the kerfing. This table has a matching 24-foot spherical radius, so when we set the body on there and we rotate it, we know we've got 100% contact. Now we're ready to put the back on. I'm delighted the way that back went on. Yeah, when we're done, man, you'd never know it was ever off. We're on to putting the replacement binding, and that's where this story started many, many hours ago. We'll keep you posted. As far as finishing and touch-up, we're down to just scuffing out the sides. We're going to do that anyway because we're going to level that binding flush with the wood and a coat of urethane, and then we'll get on to adjusting that neck angle, putting all new frets in, making a new bridge, and a compensated nut, and a compensated saddle. Stay tuned. Lots more to come.